Welcome to another episode of Just As Cher Live. And tonight I'm talking all about setting up a goal crushing network, because there's so many people that I've been talking to lately where they have been looking at their networks and they're like, you know what? I'm building this broad, wide network, but I'm not being strategic and I'm not being intentional. Not that there's anything wrong. You guys know what I'm looking for, right? Right. Yeah. About that timer. All right. So not that there's anything wrong with having a broad and wide network, because depending on your goals, a broad and wide network might be exactly what you're looking for. All right. I'm seeing you guys come in live. I love it. Timer's going. So on today's episode, I'm talking about building an intentional and strategic network to help you crush your goals in 2020 and beyond. Because when you're focused and you're ready and you've got the right people to tap into, life can be golden, or at least more golden than it would be without it, right? Okay, as well, my scroll stopper tonight is going to have you digging in the crates for content that worked for you before, because I'm going to show you how you can make it work again. And as well, in Tap That App, 2Ps, you know I'm going to share an awesome app, especially if you have a lot of data that you need to share with people and you want to do it in a creative way. Because usually, guys, when I'm testing out apps or I'm checking things out, it's because I need it. So if I need it, I bet you that there's at least one person who's watching who wants to make an infographic, and Canva it just ain't cutting it. So you got to go to, I'm going to share with you guys an app or a tool that will help you create a much better looking infographic if that is your thing. So definitely stay tuned, and there's more. So I'm going to be answering this. I've changed it up. So normally I have like A's to my Q's, but now it's just an A to your Q. So the question of the week. And it's all about buying followers. Should you not? I bet you know the answer, but let's talk about it a little bit more in this week's question of the week. So while I get the questions, as I see everybody streaming in, thank you for joining. Let me know, are you team live or team replay? No matter what, you're on my team. And in the meantime, I'm going to check in with everybody I see there, because I think this is, of course, pretty awesome, pretty dope. And I love interacting with you guys. You guys team live or team replay? Let me know as well. Where are you watching from? I know there's usually people all over, from as far as Australia, and I'm here in Toronto, Canada, who are watching. Shout out to my Australian friends as well. Let's see here. Let's check it out. So who do I see? I see Whitney, I see Misha, I see Gail, I see Melissa and Beth and Bonnie and Juanita and Bijou and Brian and Katija and Tim and Rhonda. I'm just making the list. And Christopher, Kata. I see Janice, Hunter. Hunter. I need to know how to, is it Bjorn, Texas? Let me know. And Rashida's watching from Detroit. Hi, Minnie and Mark. Vancouver in the house. I got my Canadians up in here. Got a few Canadians. I love it. And you guys, thank you so much for tuning in live. And if you're watching on the replay, you know you're still on my team. And Katisha's in Niagara right now. Lucky you, maybe, right? Yeah. So like I said, this episode is if you have to tighten up that network. Because one of the things that I've been talking about lately is the fact that, this whole experience that we've been experiencing for the last 6 months has been kind of a wake-up call. But I think at this point, it's a wake-up call to the wake-up call. So if you haven't done what you need to do, we kind of know what to expect moving forward, but you're going to need the network to make it work. And so often, especially if you're new to LinkedIn, it's about getting over that 500. No matter what you do, by hook or by crook, you got to get to that 500, and that becomes the focus until it's not. Because the really awful thing about just connect is you're not building a network who cares about what you have to talk about. You're not building a network that you can use as a tool on the job, in the business, whatever it is in the brand, you need that. And so what I want to make sure is I equip you with some thoughts to reposition how you are going to build your network to crush your goals wherever you are, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are a professional, whether you're a leader, I don't care. Your network can help you get there faster. So if we have never met before, my name is Cher Jones, and I am a corporate social media trainer that specializes in helping professionals, entrepreneurs, leaders develop a powerful presence online and teach them how to use social media at work for work. And I'm also a coach. So if you need to develop that brand because you need to get out there and be branded and business famous, I can help you with that too. But it all starts with one, that credible digital presence. So how you show up online. When I look you up, do I even want to connect with you in the first place? So that's probably the hidden tip, is make sure you have a presence that I want to connect with. But then after that, developing the network to amplify your message, to tap into, to ask questions, to make connections, to make sales if that's your thing, if that's what you need to do, or if you have to influence, attract talent, ensure that people want to work with and for you. But you want to have that network of people that actually want to do that. So that's what we're talking about tonight. And my first question for you guys, so this is the question for you that I have right now as I jump back into the comments so you guys can start answering this question. Do you think your network could be more strategic and intentional? I did a poll this week, and most people, it was really like a 30-30 split, because there were 4 answers, and it was like a 30-30 split around people feeling that they need to be more intentional and people who are focused on the money, and money meaning opportunities, money meaning connections, and money being smart as far as how they're developing their network. And some people are open to all. And again, there's nothing wrong as long as you have a strategy behind it. And that's what a lot of people commented in on that poll. So let me take a look what y'all are saying. And let me see. Hey, Chad and Bryn and Jeffrey, all these team livers. Yes. Is your network worth or worthless? Huh. I like that, Megan. I like that a lot. And hey, Donovan. And let's see. Right. And Bonnie says she's pretty strategic, which makes sense because when you're on here and her business is so specific, but yet with her strategic network, not only is she making connections within the food and beverage industry, she's also building visibility. So like becoming a household brand. So she has two goals attached there. One, she has to spread the word so people understand that this product is available. If you have never seen Go Lids, connect with Bonnie because she has such an innovative product that the world needs to know about. But so she's got to get people on board, people asking for it. So that's a broad audience, and then very specific business connections around how to make that transaction. So Gail says, I'm totally hyper local on Twitter, which is what I need, but not necessarily on other platforms. But Gail, here's the awesome thing about that is you've chosen your money network, because here's what I have to say about that. The grass is greener where you water it. All social, quite frankly, can work for you if you make it work, if you have a strategy, if you're building, the key thing here, relationships. And it looks like and sounds like, based off of what you've said, that that's what you're doing. You're building the relationships. You are making the presence known, and you're creating the visibility and the community around your brand to make things happen with social. And quite frankly, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, it doesn't matter as long as you have a strategy. And again, the grass is greener where you water it. So you got to invest the time, energy, and effort in the network that makes sense for you. And Bryn says, strategic, very niche group I can connect with and work with, which is incredible, and alignment. I love that, Chris, as well. And it is important. And here's where I'm going to challenge because there's a lot of people who are like trying to keep it. There are some people who only connect with people they know, and I think that's short-sighted. And there are some people like, well, if you don't represent my network, that might not be a good thing. But I think as long as you are connecting with awesome people, and then also thinking strategically when you're going out there to connect with people, you can grow a network in tandem. So you have great people that you just love to connect with that may have nothing to do with your job, nothing to do with your business, but yet you can grow relationships and also use them to amplify, not use in a negative way, but they become amplifiers of your brand and of your content. All right. So I have someone saying that they're a team. Let's see. So Whitney, I'll see you on team replay. That's all good, but you checked in live for just a second and I appreciate that. So handle your family business and I will see you on the replay. All right, guys. So let's talk about creating that intentional network. All right. So the one thing that you need to visit before you really start getting intentional, and this is for any strategy whatsoever, it's all about understanding what the goals of your role are, as well as what your brand vision is. So wherever your role is, whether you're employed or you are self-employed or somewhere in between, because there's a lot of people who are both, knowing what it is they need to accomplish. So for those of you who have a performance planner, there are things in your job that you need to accomplish and crush at. And in order to make the moves, the power moves, the money moves of what you want to make, so that could be sales, that could be about growing your reach and your awareness within a company, whatever it is. What do you need to do? And understanding those goals, being very clear on, well, what is it I need to accomplish? So it's like taking social out of this for a second and really recognizing what you need to accomplish in your day-to-day operations. And the next piece is really about having that brand vision. So where do you want your brand to grow, right? And go. But what you need to do is make sure that, one, you know the immediate goals, and then you have a bigger vision. So you could be a brand in transition where you're doing both. You have a side hustle and your main gig. And maybe there's a lot of people right now who are content having both, and that's totally fine. But again, having the vision for your brand, and you could be one of those people who have an incredible job. You have incredible goals that you want to accomplish in your job, but then you also want to be known for within your industry, and that's your brand vision for your thought leadership, your expertise, your way of thinking, your way of leading, or way of doing something that is game changing in your industry. That could be part of your brand vision. So you have a bigger vision, and that requires a larger, wider network. So once you know your goals, it will help you determine who exactly you need to be connected with. And that's where we're up next. Make a what and a who. What industries, what areas, what companies, what people, just generally speaking, and what's the what? So what of those industries do you need to make sure that you are getting a foothold in? Maybe it's a subject matter of expertise, whatever it is. What's the what? The companies, the thought leadership spaces. What areas do you want to be known in? What companies do you need to be connected with? What teams need to know you better? And then the who list. So the what and the who. Who needs to know you in order for you to accomplish the goals that you have set out in your role? And as well, your brand vision, what you want to accomplish. But here's an interesting thing, is once you know the what, once you kind of know the who the what and the who, so what companies do you need to do deals with, for example, or create relationships with, and as well who, then you can take that as your base list. And there's a thing in social media advertising called a lookalike list. So once you have your lists, now to expand your network and think bigger beyond your original scope and vision, you can create a list that looks just like that by saying, oh, I need to know more people in companies just like this. What other companies can I include? It will allow you to expand your vision. Or the who else with this title in other companies, in other divisions do I need to know, in other clients, other referral partners. So you start to think bigger. Okay, so you create that lookalike list for your network, and your network gets to expand, right? So think about that. Make that what and who list. The next thing is you got to go hunting. right? You got to actually find these people. And there are so many areas where you can go and find these people. So one of the easiest, obvious places that is probably underutilized is LinkedIn, the actual search, the search bar, typing in somebody's name. And then there's this thing called, I can never say it properly, Boolean search. I think I said it right. And that's when you're using very specific search functions. So they're words like and in all caps. So you could be like CEOs and directors. You can use the word or, right? You can use brackets. So I want you guys to look up, because I don't have time to teach it today, but look up Boolean search. It is incredible as far as being able to find people on LinkedIn. And it's like, you'll be surprised at how great your lists are, especially when you know what companies you need to connect with and who the types of people you need to connect with and what industries you need to connect with. Once you have that, the world is your oyster. And don't stop at just LinkedIn, because we saw Twitter it is definitely, for those who are active in that network, you can find a lot of active people that will meet your what and who list, right? So you can search there. So the other thing is going hunting on other networks. Another area to go hunting on is sponsored posts for companies that you would probably serve, or if you think about when you see posts coming up in your news feed and you see that it's sponsored, do I need to meet other people like me? There's a reason why that came in front of me, because they've decided that I'm in this avatar, this ideal client. So maybe if I need to expand my network with other people like me, I can look at who's engaged on that sponsored post, right? And what this gives me as well is active people. So people, when I say engaged, of course, I mean liked, commented. You can see that. And again, they've paid to be in front of this very specific audience. So I have to analyze, well, what's this product for? And would the people be attracted to this product that I maybe need to talk to? Now that's a rich hunting ground, okay? And I alluded to something as well. And you can do that again with company posts. You can do that with other posts that show up in the news feed. If you're following hashtags, of course, that's a great way to search as well. So you might want to consider that. And the one thing that I want to say is, while you're hunting, make sure that you're hunting for active people on the network. It's no sense of sending requests off to dream connections and they're never even on the network in the first place, right? Because there's a few things that you have to think about. Yes, thank you for spelling Boolean search on LinkedIn, Jeffrey. I appreciate you, my friend. So there you go. Look in the comments to how you spell Boolean search. Boo. Yeah, well, Boolean. Wow, that was pretty non-epic. Anyways, yes, look up Boolean search. All right. So again, I was getting into that. Look for proof of life. You want to, when you are thinking about connecting with somebody, I'm not going into connection etiquette today. This is about finding this intentional network, but you do want to make sure as you find them, don't just connect with them. Look for proof of life. How you do that is you look on their account. Does it look like it's an active account? And it shows you right up front, activity. It's not worth connecting to tombstones. And that's what I call dead LinkedIn profiles that have not been activated since the last time they looked for a job. What you want to do is build an active network, because then you also have an active feed where it actually gives you a good hunting ground, because you can see who's in the different networks and how you can, who's engaging, that's the word I wanted, engaging with the content that's coming through your newsfeed. And of course, if you have a boring newsfeed, you might want to that's a clear indicator actually that you need to work on your network, because your network's boring and you need to and you need to make sure that you are connecting with people who are actually going to feed you on the network. So they're putting out awesome content, or You, by the way, point number 5, you can actually create content, because that is one way where you can bring community together, because you're actually bringing community together in a way that's talking about stuff that you want to talk about because you created it, right? But even going back to looking for proof of life, one of the coolest ways to find, again, looking for specialized people is, again, finding people, I keep on saying again, I'm sorry guys, finding people who are creating content that's relevant to your role goals and your brand vision, relevant to your what and who list. And they usually bring a community together. You can even search, because what I'm seeing now is more companies are diving into the LinkedIn Live as being an active platform, and they are drawing a lot more of an audience. And in those audience, just like you guys right now are interacting and engaging with each other, it's not just about me. I'd love to think it's just about me, but it's really not. It's about this community that kind of convenes while I'm talking. But that happens all over LinkedIn. So you can search the hashtag LinkedIn Live, for example, just to see what's going on. And here's a tip about searching. Whether you are searching in your, whether you're searching the news feed for hashtags, or you're just looking through your news feed, you can, at the very top of it, you can switch it from recent to, I think it's most relevant. I can't remember. I screenshotted it and I forgot to put it in. But you can switch it. So I think it's top and recent. Basically, what the newsfeed shows you is based off of the algorithm, like the most important, most relevant posts. But if you want to see what's happening right now, which is not always the best option, but you can certainly see, especially with lives, you can switch it to recent versus top. And it's this little drop down menu right at the start of when you start scrolling in your newsfeed. It's completely game changing as far as what you'll see. So yes, relevant. Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate that. So I would definitely check that out. And again, creating content, you bring the people to you. So I know I have to do a better job at this, is after my content, after everything is, put out and I'm responding to all the comments, I got to look at all the people who have liked it, who have never connected with me before, but this is their first introduction to me. I need to be proactive and start connecting with them more often. I do it, but not often enough. And this is a fun fact. Did you know that you have a lifetime of 5,000 connection requests that you can make? 5,000, 5K, that's it, 5K. So you can ask for more from LinkedIn, but we all start off with 5,000 connection requests that we can make. And then what you can do is, did you know that you have up to 30,000 connections that you can actually have before people can just follow you? You can't connect with them. So that's something else to consider. So there are limitations, right? So it just makes you be more discerning. And one of the things that you have to remember when you're putting out those connection requests is that if more people feel sketchy about you, and they select, I don't know you, or I don't know Cher, when I send them a connection request, eventually you could end up in LinkedIn jail. So I do want to make sure you guys avoid jail time. So you'll see some people, their activity gets cut off completely because they've either been using bots. Like, I'm not really a big fan of bots. I think they can be used effectively. But I just don't use them, and I'm not here to bash bots, but I am here to bash the people who use them really poorly, because that is the quickest way to land in LinkedIn jail. When they see irregular activity, is what they'll call it, they will block your account for a while. And if they see that too often, all of a sudden you've built this network of people who, first of all, don't really care about you anyway, because you're just connecting using an algorithm, that can be argued that you can really get it down to a science. And I know, I'm not here to argue the worthiness of bots. I think in general, most people use them really poorly. So that's where I stand on that. But, oh, sorry guys. But you want to make sure you avoid jail time. So this is a huge issue that can really not only limit your ability to network, but limit your ability to be visible in the network. Because once they start catching you doing these things, sending out too many connection requests where people are ignoring, hit ignore, eventually they'll ask you, if you see that you have to enter in an email address for every person you're connecting with, that's a good indicator that you're in LinkedIn jail, just saying. So keep that in mind. Okay. And so these are my 6 tips about building a network, building that intentional network, but it really starts with tip number 1, right? You gotta know when you are more intentional of what you want. And I could talk about this literally for an hour. I have modules, I have things that I could talk about, but I wanted to give you guys what I felt was most important. And we can always go back and revisit this, absolutely, but keep that in mind. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Thumbs up if you heart it, if you think that this needs a part 2 with more, tactical stuff. Maybe I'll make some videos on that. Maybe. We'll figure it out. But Megan says, oh, wow, I thought it was 30K. Yes, it's 30K for your connections, actual physical connections, and 5K of invitations. So, but yeah. And then let's see, Christopher says, oh my gosh, I just worked on this. I had to withdraw a bunch of old invites that were months old. Have you guys ever done that, by the way? You can go into your requests and see if there's anything old and delete them. So you go into invitations and you look at sent invitations, right? So recent connections, sent invitations, go in there and delete the ones where people are just like, they didn't connect with you. Okay, so Carrie Ann saying, love this share, so very valuable, much appreciated. Well, Carrie Ann, you were the one who gave me the idea for this show, so thank you very much. I'm glad you tuned in live for this. And that reminds me, guys, if you have ideas for a show, you can DM me, let me know, because I can create something good for you based off of your questions, because that's what this show is all about, just us share live. All right, so coming up next is my scroll stopper. And guys, in the meantime, I want to remind you that, get on the A list. It's starting to get activated. Last week, I sent out a little something. So justashare.com, get on the A list. And let's come back to me. Yup. How did this time fly so quickly? Well, we can't do that. So I want to go into my scroll stopper. So let me do that right now and keep it moving. Nick F. Nelson, who's no stranger to the Just Ask Share live community. And in fact, we've done a lot of work together. And I want to talk to you about if it ain't broke, repost it. Okay, so that's exactly what Nick did. Last year in December, I did an awesome brand day with him. And just 4 days ago, friends, 4 days ago, he reposted this video. And if you don't know Nick Nelson, you guys need to know Nick Nelson. And he literally, quite frankly, guys, let me go back on camera for a second. He literally used the same copy, everything. But why, when you create evergreen content, so what I mean by evergreen content, because that's exactly what this is, evergreen content, that means that you can play it any time of year and it's still relevant, even though he has a date in there. And that date was my rebrand day. And so he talks about this. So let's go back. He talks about this when it comes to branding. Not everyone needs to start from scratch. Some have done the work in establishing their professional reputation and just need a good old-fashioned level up. This is the case for the remarkable. Yes, remarkable. Cher Jones, the socially savvy CEO of Socially Active Training. If you're on LinkedIn, you've probably seen Cher. Each week, she provides valuable insights on social media via her Just Ask Cher Live LinkedIn Live show. Recently, Cher achieved a personal weight loss goal. Guess what? I achieved another one, so I'll be back, Nick. I'll be back. And And as she moves into her new year, this cool kid traveled from Toronto to Atlanta to reboot her brand image and rebirth her brand. So take a moment to check it out. And here's the other thing I want you to notice: direct message or type brand me for help with your brand. So let me give you my quick tips. And I'm going to pause the timer because, guys, I need more time. All right. If it ain't broke, repost it. So what I want to do for you guys, if you haven't checked out that video, check out the video. It's really dope and it makes me look like a thirst trap. But anyways, it's a really dope video. And what he does really effectively in this video series is he creates this mini case study. So this allows him to showcase the transition, the evolution, the brand experience, if you will. And he's creating this mini case study. So he, in that post, and that's why I read it out to you, is he's letting you know where his client, me, was starting and what happened as a result. And he highlights throughout the video, if you guys watch the video, he highlights what it's like to go through a brand day. And that's literally a full brand photo shoot, makeup, glam, everything, right? On location. Like I'm talking, like he pulls out all the stops. But you also see how he interacts with his clients, how his team works, what is involved with that. So it's great content, and it's always individual to the individual client. So guys, check out his brand days. Get a brand day if you need one. He showcases his personality and professionalism throughout, so you really get an idea of what it's like to work with Nick. And of course, tag the client. And finally, an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming style call to action. So what I mean by that is he said direct message or type brand me to get help for your brand. And that's awesome because he's already getting the client to yes, just simply by typing brand me, because that's what they want. Brand Diddy. That's right, Donovan. That is right, my friend. So I think he crushed it. And like I said, if it ain't broke, repost it. So make sure you're doing that with your bomb ass content. Again, this was done December of last year. We are now in September, and the content itself, it did in 4 days, 3,400 views and 230 pieces of engagement. So we did well. So keep it moving, 47 comments. And quite frankly, I got more connections out of that repost. So thank you for reposting. All right, guys, on to the next, because I'm really still in time right now, but I can't help it. So next up, tab that app. 2 P's. And in this, like I said before, teased off the top if you're just tuning in, if you need to create an infographic, you are going to need this tool. And I think it's pretty dope because I'm working on one myself. Okay. But I want to remind you, in the meantime, don't miss a post. Make sure you're following the hashtag #Cher so you don't miss posts, because this is not the only content that's coming out from me. I'm working behind this wall. There's more stuff happening. I can't wait. And if you're on the A-list, you'll be the first to know. I'm just saying, big things happening. Big, cool things, at least according to me. So, like I was saying, tap that app, 2 P's. This is all about creating, and it's kind of like their website's a little bit crazy because it's all graphics. But anyways, let's take a look. It's called Easily. Okay, the free way to turn wordy content, data-driven content into an engaging infographic. And why I looked up this solution is because of the fact that the stuff on Canva, you're working with a template, but it's not an engine designed to create infographics. So as you can see, this gets more into the details. You can't do this kind of stuff on Canva. You can do the basics, even with the Pro. You can do the basics. You can do basic infographics, but Easily, let's go back to this. This is where you can get deeper. And Donovan, I really think that this might be something that you can create some of your awesome math infographics with. So check it out. And so if you guys want to check out Easily, they have a free plan and as well the business use. So it's like $5 a month, $60 for the year. You can check it out for free for 7 days. So it's worth it. I would check it out. and try it out. And I always recommend, so here's where you go, Easily. So look at the spelling, guys. Easel.ly. All right, that's the website that you want to be on. So make sure you guys check that out, because I think it is pretty dope. And it's worth checking out and using. I'm going to be playing with it, and you'll probably see a little few creations come out as a result. So it's definitely a great resource. Thank you, Bonnie. And I think, yeah, you can do some awesome stuff with that too. And let me see now. Coming up next is my A to your Q. So what I'm going to do now is, rather than taking open Q&As, you got questions for me, leave them in the comments below, but I'm going to feature a question of the week. And this question I think is pretty awesome. So I'm going to get to it in just a second. But of course, did you guys know sharing is caring? So if you made it this far in the episode, that means you found something pretty awesome about it. And at the end of the show, I would really, truly appreciate the share. The algorithm loves it. I love it. And I'd love you for doing it. So thank you so much. So don't forget to share. And so here's our question of the week, guys. And so today, a new LinkedIn connection reached out and shared that they can help me increase my YouTube channel subscribers by 1,000. Is that even legal? What are your thoughts? The cost is a one-time payment of $70. Has this ever happened to you? Is this common? These are dope questions, because yes, I get it on Instagram and I get it on YouTube. I've never got the request on LinkedIn, but I get those requests all the time. And here's the whole thing. And this is such a fantastic question for this show, because we're talking about building a network. Don't build a fake network. A network that isn't your network can't help you, right? What you want to do is, this is the long way. This is not the easy way, but it is the best way. A good network takes time to build. If you fast track it by purchasing followers, one, they're probably bots. If you ever look up bot farms, they literally have thousands of cell phones connected, and they're using this tech that allows them to like stuff, but it's not real people. Why are we creating content in the first place? For our ideal audience, to help us achieve our role goals as well as our brand vision. So we need to make sure that, I would rather have 100 people, y'all, watch my show than have 1,000 people say that they're subscribed to me and never watch me. 100 people, 39 people, 50 people, whatever. But they're people who are actually interested and engaged, and who actually may share this at the end and see value in it. Do not have a fake network. Exactly, Renee. It's just not worth it. Because and I understand, especially on Instagram, there was a time when, a lot of people were paying for 10,000 followers so they can get the swipe up feature, right? But again, it's like dead giveaway when I look at your content, especially if I look at it online and I can still see your numbers. If you look at it from the web, you can still see people's stats, and they've got 10,000 followers and 60 likes. That tells me, one, that your followers are not real. There are a lot of engines right now that will also that can tell you right away who has fake followers and who doesn't. And they're free things, they're free tools that you can find. More or less, if you're trying to, work with brands or anything like that, they can tell right away. When you have all of a sudden you went to 0 to 100 or 0 to 10,000 real quick, they can tell, and you won't be rewarded. Become a micro influencer, build the community up, find the people that you need to connect with. And it takes a lot of work. You got to be commenting and engaging. I didn't even talk about that because there's so many different facets to creating a network. Today it was all about where you find them, but you need to build that network. You need to be constantly engaging. And one thing that I can say is and I wish I mentioned this in my other list, is when you are engaging in people's content, that's when you send that connection request right away, because you'll get the notification. It's like they see you a few times, and then you can connect, and that will help you build a network that's valid and real. and that's what you want. So that's my A to your Q, and I really appreciate the question. And coming up next on Just Ask Cher, we are going to continue along the path of building the brand, and I'm going to be talking about anchor content. So what I mean by anchor content is this, for me, is my anchor content. So I put most of my time, effort, and energy into creating this solid piece, and then how can I break it out? So I'm going to talk more about how you can create your anchor, your stable piece of content. And it's usually, anyways, I'm going to go into that in the next show. So stay tuned. And I can pretend. Let's resume the timer as if I never stopped it. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found a lot of help out of it. And of course, if you want to find any back episodes of Just Ask Cher Live, you can always hit me up on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, and all of my episodes are there because I stream there. And of course, anytime you want to connect, let's connect. If we are not connected yet, what are you waiting for? Let's connect on the next episode of Just Ask Cher Live. I can't wait to see you then, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will definitely see you on the next episode.